Hi guys, this is actually my first video I'm doing. I'm so mad that it's took me this long to make a video, but I just feel like the Holy Spirit's been pushing me to make a video of my partially my testimony and just where I'm at today. Um, but yeah, I guess I'll just go into my testimony because I've been having so many people just not understanding what's going on and just pretty much think I'm crazy, which is fine, because in that Bible, it says, people they're gonna hate you, they're gonna persecute you, and just left and right. So, um, but yeah, just growing up, I had a wonderful family. Um, I was very close. We had a close family. Always those family traditions, and when I was little, you know, I just always I was such a daddy's girl. I love my dad. He spoiled me a lot. Um, Also, I never was a bad kid. I would always listen to my parents and you know just do the right thing. The main thing that held me back was fear. I was always scared, and scared of just everything. Going outside, or talking to people, that was a big one. Um, just always scared. And now I know it's something more than that I'm working on. But anyways, like I said, I just wanted to do this testimony because, like I said, it's been a while, and Jesus Christ, He saved my life almost 6 months ago, and the Holy Spirit's been pushing me, and it's definitely time to get my story out there, and you know, I just want to help other people. I've always been like that, trying to help other people, but I just want people to see, this is real. Everything that's it's the truth. It's all the truth. The Bible, it says everything of what's going on in my life today. And it's just so hard to fathom why people don't understand, you know. But anyways, back to my testimony. Growing up, you know, my mom, she was a wonderful mom. She always did everything for me, kind of spoiled me, babied me, you know. But my dad, he was a really good dad. Very hardworking, but he liked to drink, and sometimes he drank too much and caused uproar, with the family. And I have two other sisters. I have an older sister and my little sister, and me and my older sister, we were kind of close. We're about 6 or 7 years apart, so we were always fighting and all that. So we weren't really too close because she was, into boys while I was still playing with Barbies. So, but as my little sister got older, me and her got a really, really tight bond, and I would babysit her all the time, and I just me and her just really got close. But like I said, growing up, I always obeyed my parents, and my parents always made sure I had whatever I needed. And by the time I went to school, for some reason my dad really wanted me to go to Catholic school and to get baptized Catholic and be with that crowd. So I was put into Catholic school, and I didn't really like it. I mean, back then, I was kind of little and I didn't understand, really anything. And when I went there first grade, I think, is when I started going, and just being in that school, it was a really old school. Now that I look back now and I can put in my mind, like, I know that school, it just gave me a bad vibe. You know, why I always was scared to go up the steps to go to the classrooms, or, you know, they held gym class in this dungeon. It's like this basement. It's all cement with cinder block windows. Totally just really freaky down there. And, you know, the principal, she was very strict and made everyone scared of her. And, you know, the church, we'd have to go to church on Wednesdays. You know, we'd go to the church, and, you know, I never paid attention, you know, thank the Lord, I never paid attention, because it was just weird, you know, everything that, was going on, and I didn't pay attention to anything the priest was saying. Um, what I always remembered was just this big, you know, you're sitting in the pews, and you're looking at Jesus. This thing was so big. It's Jesus hanging on the cross, nailed to the cross, and I'm always sitting there like saying, why are we looking at him like this? You know, it just never made sense to me. Like, why would we be looking at him? And I don't know, it was just really weird to me. Like, I just didn't get it. And then I got baptized, and I was baptized at like age 12. I can't really remember. I can't really remember all that went on. I'm pretty sure, you know, he just dabbed his finger and did all that on my head. And then I had like the Holy Communion, and I had to go talk to the priest and tell him, you know, my sinning, or what I was sinning, if I did anything. And back then I didn't do anything, so I just told him, you know, please forgive me for yelling at my sister and fighting with her. And you know, he did the whole Hail Mary on me, which I know now today to stay away from that. But anyways, you know, like I said, I was young, and I didn't know. So, you know, things were going okay. I still was so scared of everything. And then I started, now that I look back, after, you know, I stayed in that school until 4th grade, and then my parents took me out because I guess it was just too much money for them for a private Catholic school. So they sent me to regular public school, which I really liked. But during that time, you know, after I left that school, I would have just weird, crazy dreams about that school. You know, just being in that basement where we had the gym class, and you know, where I would dream about these snakes crawling above my head, and it'd be pitch black, and I couldn't get out of the room, and I'd hear the snakes, and it just really just nightmares. And now I know it's demonic. It just amazes me how that all worked out, and I'm just so thankful that I was taken out of that school at such a young age. But anyways, things were going good. I was still in public school. Things were going good. I was still scared though. Like, I wouldn't be able to go and talk to nobody. I was so scared, like, thinking about, you know, are they thinking about me? Are they talking, you know, are they making fun of me? That was a whole big thing about people making fun of me. I don't know why. There's a lot of self-condemnation. And, but anyways, I don't know why my screen's getting really dark. Sorry for that. But anyways, you know, after a while, you know, like I said, I had a great family, and we would always do stuff together. And me and my grandma, she was very religious. She always had her Bible open, you know, reading her Bible, and always talking about God, and, you know, oh, God, you know, God loves you, and, you know, oh, he's watching you, he knows what you're doing, and this and that. And at the time, hold on, my children. Go on, I'm making a video. Go out. I'll be out in a little bit. Shut the door. Sorry for that. He's 3. He's a handful. But anyways, she was the only one in my family who talked about God, and but she smoked. So, but she quit smoking after a while. I would go and hide her cigarettes, and she would get so mad. She would get a broom and try hitting me with it because she wanted the cigarettes. But now I know that she was probably demon possessed when that was happening. Then go tell her not to hit you, okay? Tell her to stand in the corner. My kids are fighting. But anyways, see, Satan obviously doesn't want me to do this video. But anyways, I rebuke you, Satan. Because Satan's held me back so much, and this is for the Lord, this is for Jesus Christ. And like I said, I'm just so thankful that he opened up my eyes, because I'm still trying to figure out why I was so scared of everything. Why going to the store, I'd be so scared of everything, and talking to people, and it just held me back so much. I was quiet in school. Everyone was like, "Oh, that's the quiet girl. She don't say nothing." And and I wanted to talk, but I couldn't. I was too scared. So, but anyways, like I said, my grandma, she was the only one that was, talked about God and stuff. And, but anyways, after the while, when I hit middle school, I gained a lot of weight. I was overweight, and I was kind of getting depressed a lot, about my weight. And, I started just pretty much just saying, oh, who cares anymore about, what you look like. I would always just throw on a pair of sweatpants and a sweatshirt and just didn't care about myself anymore. But I still cared about what other people thought of me, but I just, kind of just gave up because I gained so much weight. But at that time also, I was getting so many stomach aches, and my stomach was hurting so bad, and sometimes it hurt so bad that I would just call upon the Lord, and I'd just be like, "Lord, please make my stomach stop hurting," and, I would say Hail Marys because, at the time that's what I thought was right. So I'd be saying Hail Marys, and, that didn't work. And, but when I would just talk to God, I wasn't praying because I never prayed, but I just would talk to him, and I'd just be like, Father, please take this pain away from me. And it always eased up. It never went completely away, but it eased up. So after that, I just kept, every time I had a stomach ache or whatnot, I would, ask the Lord to please take that from me if he can. So anyways, the stomach pain was every single day, which held me back at school. I couldn't go to school, and my mom, she started taking me to doctors, and I had so many testings done on me. I had endoscopies where they stick a camera down your throat. I had colonoscopies where, I'm sure you guys heard of that. I had so much blood work done, and being put to sleep, and x-rays and sonograms and all that medical junk. And the crazy thing is that they all came back normal. Nothing serious was wrong. They did say that I was lactose intolerant, and I had acid reflux and gastritis, like where my stomach was inflamed. So they put me on a diet. They told me not to eat, no junk food, no acidy food, no like pizza sauce, and no pop. Pop was a big thing. So I was tired of my stomach ache, so I listened, and I changed my whole diet. And that was about 14. I was 14, and um, I lost so much weight. I was very skinny. I think I was a size 5, and to me that's pretty skinny to me, because I always was like a size 12, or um, the biggest I was like a 14, 16 size. So being a size 5 was really, it made me feel great. So I started, buying clothes, tighter clothes that fit me, and I kept begging my parents to let me get my belly button pierced. And my dad, he was so strict, and he was like, no way. But then I just kept bugging him and bugging him about it, and he's like, well, let's, if you get a good report card, and we'll see. So I was still scared to talk in school, though. Like, I was still scared and whatnot. So, but I kind of was opening up my shell a little bit. If somebody came up to me, I would talk to them. Um, and um, I wanted to be with the crowd, and to, cause back then, 14, I think I was like in 8th grade, and they were all starting to drink and smoke and swear, and I never did any of that, and have sex, and I never did any of that either. So I was too scared to. I was too scared to do anything. So I mean, it's kind of a good thing that I was scared. Um, and people tried getting me to come to parties, and you know, they asked me if I wanted to smoke, and I was pretty good with peer pressure. I just no, I don't want to do that. You know, but then I'd be like, okay, they probably think I'm stupid, and a lot of times I would just call my mom and tell her to pick me up, because it got that bad. So, but anyways, after that, I got a good report card, and my dad said I could get my belly button pierced. So at 14, I went and got my belly button pierced, and that got me more into like, ooh, I'm gonna start losing more weight and looking good, and at that age, I started to really like boys, and trying to fit into the crowd, I guess you could say. And my parents, we don't in summertime we have a camp up in Erie, Pennsylvania, and like a campground. There's trailers. It's a big campground park, and there's trailers, and swimming pool, and you go walk down to the Lake Erie, and that was my spot. That's I every summer, because I was able to fit in up there. It was almost like I was a different person. I would be more outspoken, and at 14, I had a friend, she was my best friend, and we'd go, and we thought we were all that up there. We were the two girls out of town, and we thought we were everything up there. Our pride was puffed up, and we would just walk around, and we look for boys, because we were at that age. And I think I was like 15 at this time too, and I was still so scared to. I had so many chances to, all these boys that came up to me, and I was just still so scared to do anything like kiss, or even a hug. I'd be like all nervous about that. So which was good, because a lot of kids today, and I just know a lot of my friends were having sex before I was, so that was kind of good that. But anyways, but yeah, we were always looking for guys, and it's just crazy how it all came about. But still, I never thought about God or anything, and I always thought that I was, this was my thing. I always thought, I'm a good person. I try to help out everybody I can, and I didn't kill nobody. I don't steal, and I thought that I'm good enough to go to heaven. I believed on I knew Jesus died for us, and, just that sort of thing. So I never really took the time to think about it. So anyways, things were, I still had my stomach ache. I was still scared, and I had the stomach ache really bad. It got to the point, my fear, my anxiety got so bad that I had to be taken out of school and do homeschool. I don't know why it got real to that point. I just didn't want to go to school anymore, and I just always felt like people were talking about me. Like I'd hear voices in my head like, oh, they're talking about you. They're making fun of you, and I just couldn't do it anymore. So I asked my mom pulled me out of school, and I did the homeschool thing, and I really liked that because I didn't have to deal with anybody. I liked being alone. But the bad thing was is that it got me hooked onto the computer. I started going on the computer a lot, and talking to boys on the computer, and trying to be something that I wasn't. I tried to. I took pictures, half naked pictures, and posted it online, and people, you got positive feedback with that. So I just kept doing it, and I'd hide it from my mom, and a couple times she found out one day, and she made me take everything down and delete it. So but I didn't listen to her. I still did it. But anyways, I got really addicted to the computer, and my dad would be like, get off the computer, get your schoolwork done and all that, and I just was so addicted to the computer. It's amazing how addicted I was. But anyways, I'm trying to think, my older sister, when I was 16, I started to really want to hang out with her. I kind of like idolized her, I guess. I wanted to do what she was doing, and she had tattoos all over her, piercings, and she was so outspoken. She would be able to go up to anybody. She didn't take no crap from nobody. And me, I'm the quiet one, and I let people walk all over me. So I kind of just wanted to always hang out with her. And my dad, he didn't want me to go hang out with her because he knew how bad she was, how corrupted she was. She did a lot of she does a lot of not good things, and but he'd give in, and I'd go over to her house, and she'd be smoking weed, and talking to me about boys and all that. So she just kind of got me to like what she was doing. So I remember the one day I was 16, and I just really wanted to get my tongue pierced, and I knew my parents would not let me get my tongue pierced at all. So I went and I took her, my big sister, she let me use her ID because a lot of people said that we looked alike. After I lost lost a lot of weight, a lot of people said we looked alike. So I took her ID, and my friend at the time, she took me to the piercing parlor, and I didn't think it would. I can't believe I did it. That's the whole thing, because I was so scared to do everything, but obviously I wasn't scared to do that. So it's weird how everything played out. But yeah, I got my tongue pierced, and I was so convicted. I think the Lord definitely convicted me that day, because I hid it for a day. My sister, she says you could hide it, it'd be easy, but my tongue was so swollen, and drool was coming all out, and at the end of the next day, I'm like, I gotta tell my parents. So I told him. My dad flipped out, and he made me take it out. And so I took it out, and they were like, "Why do you want to get that? Why did you want to do that?" And I'm just like, "I don't, I liked it, And but then, a couple days later, my dad, for some crazy reason, he says that he talked to his work buddies, and they said, "Oh, you should just let her have it." Now I'm like trying to think, like, ew, why do they want me to have it? So, he said I could have it. So I put it back in and had my tongue pierced. And then after that, I was still on the computer and on the whole MySpace thing, and um, still had my stomach problems. Still was scared, but I started talking to this boy, and we talked for about 6 months, almost I think between like 6 to 8 months. We talked on the computer and on the phone, and he lived in Erie, so we were gonna meet up when I was able to go to my camp, and we did meet up, and we kind of just clicked. I was 17 at the time, and that's my husband now. But yeah, we I don't know, something just clicked, and he would tell me stories, and just 6 to 8 months without seeing somebody, and we kind of like, okay, what if this is like some old person, and it's just funny how it all worked out. And then we met, and it just instantly we clicked, and by the end of the day, he's like, "Do you want to be my girlfriend?" And I was just like, "Yeah, sure." And so then that just kind of, it was hard because I'd have to go back to we lived 2 hours away, and I was 17, he was 17 going on 18, and he wasn't able to, and he worked and stuff, so we weren't able to see each other every day. He'd come down on the weekends though and stay with me, and the only bad thing though is just, like, I think it was less than a week, or maybe like 2 days that we saw each other in person, that he took my virginity. And it kind of sucked how like everything played out, but it just, I don't know, we talked for 6 to 8 months, so it already felt like we knew each other. But 17, I just wish, now that I have Christ, I just wish that we would have waited. And but I repented for it, and the Lord forgave me, so just move forward with that. But anyways, we stuck together, and eventually we just wanted to be with each other. So he moved down to Pittsburgh, where I'm from, and he got an apartment, and that's when I started like just staying with him all the time. My parents, I don't know what was going on. They didn't really care. I was raised with a strict family, and they didn't care. So I was always at his house and spending the nights, and we were fornicating, and he actually started. I started opening up more, and I eventually started smoking cigarettes, and which I don't even. I mean, it was demonic, and I started smoking cigarettes, and I got addicted to cigarettes, and I tried to smoke weed. I never liked it. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't like it. I didn't like the feeling of it, so I didn't really get addicted to that. Um, but my, but, uh, but my husband at the time, he was a full-on. He smoked a pack of cigarettes a day, and he smoked weed. Like, he smoked weed a lot, which it didn't bother me. But anyways, we were still going together, and we had fights. We fought a lot. Because he would talk to different girls, and he thought I would be talking to guys, and we fought a lot. Some fights we would push each other and stuff, nothing like punching or anything like that. But we both didn't have Christ, we didn't, we didn't even think about him. So eventually, I moved up to Erie with him when I turned 18, and we got a house actually, and at that time we were just bums. We didn't work. Um, we couldn't afford no cable. We uh, couldn't afford nothing really, and all smoke cigarette. We'd have money to get cigarettes and smoke weed, and we'd have people come over and we'd drink. And my husband, he wrote lyrics, he did music, and he had his own studio, and he'd have his friends come over and do music with him, and he was really good. He was really into that, and I was for it because he was good. So things were going good, but then things started going bad. When we were living in that house, we would be fighting a lot. My husband, we weren't married at the time, but he would scare me sometimes. We would fight all the time about if we're talking to people, if we were cheating against each other, and I always thought, well, if he's this mad about it, he must be doing it, because they always say, you're doing that because you're the one actually doing it. So, but yeah, we got in a lot of fights and physical fights, and I remember he tried to throw tables at me and chairs, and never hitting me because I'd dodge him really quick, but we would fight all the time and say horrible names to each other. It just wasn't good. And I remember the very first supernatural thing that happened. I never had supernatural things happening to me, but my husband had. He grew up in a house that he thought was haunted and with ghosts, but there is no ghosts. There's no such thing as ghosts. It's all either demons or angels. So at the time we had 2 cats, and my husband and myself were sleeping in our bed, and we were still sinning, didn't even think about Jesus at all, and I don't know what time it was. It was pretty late, and I just remember hearing a lady singing, or I don't even know. It was just like a weird humming, something humming and singing, and I just froze. I couldn't move. I couldn't move, and my husband, he heard it too, and he couldn't move, and I hurried but flung the blanket over my head, and I was just shaking, and then the next thing you know, he heard a loud boom, and this was an old house, and at the time we thought it was my husband's brother-in-law. He thought it was his mom, because they grew up in that house, and his mom died. And we thought, because we believed in ghosts at the time, so we thought it was her. And no, it wasn't. It was, I guess it was demons. But anyways, so that was the very first supernatural thing that's ever happened to me. And after that, I was always so scared in that house. I would hate being alone, and I wouldn't like to go upstairs or take showers, because I was thinking like somebody's behind the curtain. So and it's crazy how it all played out, because as things just started getting worse for me and my husband. But anyways, yeah, and then that's when I became pregnant with my daughter, and I thank the Lord that he gave me a healthy little girl, even when I was fornicating and just sinning and not even thinking about him. Praise God that he gave me a beautiful gift. But after I had my daughter, we had to move because we just couldn't afford that house anymore. And my husband's dad, he had a duplex, so we were able to live downstairs and his dad lived upstairs. And just after my daughter was born, and I, I had the, for birth, went in labor, I didn't have Christ, so I didn't think anything of it. I took all the drugs they gave me. I had the epidural, the shot that they give you in your back, and I had a terrible labor with her. And if I had Jesus Christ, and if I had him with me, and if I was obeying him, I knew things would be differently. And I lost so much blood when I had her, and I remember I fainted, I passed out, and they had to hurry up and put an oxygen mask on me, and I had to have 2 blood fusions. It was really bad, and if I could take all that back, I would, because I should have never done any of that. But anyways, after I had my daughter, things started getting really worse. My husband, he was still in the music. He was always doing music. He was really good. But things just started getting worse with us. We would always be accusing each other of talking to people. And I could just feel him distancing from me. He didn't really want to be around me, or and after my pregnancy, I kind of gained a little bit of weight back, so I wasn't, I didn't have a flat stomach no more. I had stretch marks from my daughter, and because she was 10-pound baby, so yeah, she was pretty big. But anyways, I started feeling bad about myself again, and like, he's probably cheating on me, and just always thinking about negative stuff. So but yeah, things started getting bad, and my husband's dad, he's a drug addict, and he does all these drugs, and he would cause problems with us, because when he would be high, he'd come in our house, and just be so loud and try to fight with us, and we had a lot of fights with him. And my daughter, she's so young, and I told my husband, I was like, we can't do this, we gotta move out. And at the time we didn't have, he was just working at a restaurant, being like a dishwasher, so we didn't have money to go and move out. But my husband eventually got a great job through the city. He's a garbage man. He got a great job, and to this day I'm pretty sure that the Lord gave that to him. And the crazy thing is, my husband, he would sometimes talk about God in his music and stuff, but we never really actually had a conversation about it. But my husband's dad, he was very religious, but he worked in the Catholic Church. So he'd have all these crosses hanging up in the house, but the drugs, I don't know, like, he was so dark. I mean, he still is dark today, but anyway, he'd be so dark, and he'd have statues of Mary, and he painted them like with blood dripping out of her mouth, and just evil stuff. And that kind of always scared me. And even my husband, he just couldn't figure out, like, what's you say you have God, but you have all this evil stuff. And his dad was reading the Bible too at that time. Just usually on Sundays he'd read his Bible, but just things weren't really going good, and it got to the point really bad where me and my husband went back to fighting again. And it got hard on me, because I was taking care of my daughter a lot. I did everything, and my husband didn't really want to change her diaper or feed her, or just all that stuff. In the beginning he did, but he just kind of, like I said, distances himself from me. So anyways, he got a really good job, and we were able to get our own apartment, and things were going really good there. I started losing weight again, and um, but we were still smoking and sinning and didn't have Jesus at all. And then I got pregnant with my son, and the apartment there, it wasn't working out, so we had to move back with his dad into that duplex again. But this time we were upstairs and his dad was downstairs, and that was really bad. I got really depressed after my son, and I actually had to go. I had to get help, so my mom came up and picked me up. And at that time, his dad, my husband's dad, we got in a really big fight, and I just couldn't be around him no more with the little babies, with him being high on heroin and stuff. It was dangerous. So my mom picked me and the kids up, and I went to Pittsburgh, and I stayed out in Pittsburgh for about almost 2 months. And it was hard because my husband, he didn't even get to see his son only till 3 days old, and he missed a lot of it growing up. My son growing up for the first 2 months, the crucial part. But eventually my husband, he found us a place, and I was able to move back within 2 months, and we were still sinning and doing all that, and didn't even talk about Christ. But we found a place, and we were, things were doing good, but then they got really bad again, and my husband started really getting into his music, and he was starting to get really good. And my husband he knew about the Illuminati and stuff, and I never knew about it. But I would never sell my soul, like Eminem, because he really liked Eminem, and I just like it because it's an outlet for me, and I never really thought anything of it. Well, that's good. Do your music. And everybody else puffed up his pride, saying, "Oh, you're so good. You need to do shows and this and that." And my husband took it to the head, and and like I said, things started getting bad, and we started, we say, "Oh, we're breaking up," and this and that, and but then we never really broke up. We just said we were, and he would call me fat, and that's, I started getting bad. I started thinking, bad about myself again, like am I really fat? And nobody, I always, like, there's self-condemnation, all that. So I like I said, things started getting bad again. Stay on, I'm making a video. She'd try to come in. But like I said, that's when stuff sort of started changing for us. I recognized my husband getting more depressed and doing a lot more, or smoking a lot more weed. And he'd want me to smoke it, and I didn't want to. Like I said, I didn't like the feeling of it. So we started, he was doing that and hanging out with the wrong crowd, and they took him to a strip club, and I was so mad with that. That caused a big fight, because you're lusting after them girls, so how can you sit there and say it didn't affect you? So but after a while, things started getting good, but he was getting more depressed, and he started going seeing a psychologist, and they put him on medication. And I forgot that I was put on medication too. They put me on Paxil and a sleeping pill called Trazodone, and they didn't work. Just letting you know that they did not work, and I was still scared. They kind of made me feel like a zombie, like I was tired all the time, and the sleeping pill kind of got me addicted to it. So I would take sometimes 3 pills in one night, but I stopped that like really quick because I knew that wasn't good. But anyways, back to where my husband, he started taking Xanax. It's for, to quit smoking cigarettes, because he wanted to stop that. And I remember he got so depressed on that pill, so depressed. And, and thank the Lord he started realizing it, so he stopped doing that. And what a difference it made. It made total difference. But anyways, I'm trying to get this faster because I think I'm talking too much about it. But anyways, like I said, we were fighting and stuff and always accusing each other, and so we were able to, after that we were able to buy, his dad, my husband's dad, was willing to buy us a house, and and uh, and we offered his dad to stay with us because he's buying us a house, and we wanted him to get clean because he's been on drugs for 25 years. They've been controlling his life, the demons, and so he bought us a house, and his dad, things were going great. Like 6 months in, things were going great. His dad wasn't touching anything, but after 6 months, he went downhill. He had his drug dealer come to my house, and his dad would go get the drugs, and that's when we would be fighting. And my husband, he was still doing the music. He was doing it a lot. He'd go into his studio and be in there all day, and the kids were like, they wanted to play with him, and he was more into his music. And I was kind of getting, I was just kind of lonely. But I love my kids, so I'd rather be home with them than going out. And my husband, he wanted to start going out more, and I didn't want to, go to bars, and I didn't want to do none of that stuff. Plus, I was still scared of everything. It wasn't that bad, but I was still scared. I depend on him a lot. I'm trying to work on that because I don't want to depend on him. But anyways, my husband, he started getting into the Illuminati more, and the New World Order and the prepping, and I was like, okay, he's getting really strange. Like, why is he looking into all this? And then he found Chris's channel, and he started watching his videos, and I didn't find out until like maybe a week later. He started talking to me about all this, about God, and are we doing it the right way? And he asked me, are you going to you think you're going to heaven? And I was like, well, yeah, I'm not a bad person, I'm a good person. And he's like, even when you smoke your cigarettes? And I'm like, well, yeah, it's just a cigarette, but at the time I was like, I didn't think anything of it. And he's like, I don't know, Ashley. So he was getting more into that, and I remember his music changing. He was getting really good at it, and his music was changing, and I don't know, it's hard to explain. But I remember one day, like, just everything just started changing, like God really was calling us. And my husband, he started questioning God. Is this real? Is it real? And the one day he went outside to get something. We have a fire pit out in our yard where we have fires and all that, and just the biggest lightning bolt just struck down right beside my husband, just like right by his leg, just boom, just so loud, the whole house shook, and my husband had the fear of God put into him, and it was amazing after that, because then he really started like watching Chris's videos, and he started hating his sin, and I started like, I was contemplating like, what's going on. I even told my mom like, what's going on, and she was like, oh, he's getting crazy. You need to watch out for that. And my husband, he was like, Ash, something's not right. There's something more to this. So after the lightning bolt, he was starting to hate his sin, and wanted to stop smoking, but he couldn't. But he was still into the. Alright, go play. Color? I didn't ask your sister. Shut the door. I'm almost done. Sorry for that. But anyways, he, I remember the night my husband, he went in the basement. This is when he started learning about demons from Chris's channel, and he, what was I gonna say? He was in our basement because that's where he moved his studio, in the basement, and he was down there reading about his, the third eye, the pineal gland, and he said, he didn't tell me that day, but the next day he told me that, there was something down there with him, something evil. He felt so evil. He was scared, and then of course that got me scared. So I didn't even want to go in my basement, because at the time I still didn't believe in demons. I didn't, I didn't think anything of it. So after that, he really got into it, watching Chris's videos every day, all day, and I'm like, okay, this is, he's doing all this, it's taking, this is getting annoying, because I still, I was still smoking, and he was trying to quit, and, after that, he told me, you gotta stop doing that, you're sinning, and I'm like, okay, but I didn't. I go sneak behind his back and go buy a pack of cigarettes. But anyways, trying to think what happened next. So anyway, and then that's when my husband came to me and saying, I think we're unequally yoked, and I'm not going to be able to stay with you. I'm like, what? I was like, what are you talking about? Because I didn't want our family to break up. Because he's like, I believe in God, actually, what we're doing is wrong, we're going to hell. And I'm just like, I was like, what? He's like, you need to start changing and this and that. So, I kind of stopped trying to smoke cigarettes. I'd have maybe like one, maybe three during the day. And, I really tried because I didn't want to break up with him. And that's when my husband started really watching these deliverance videos, and he kind of understood that these are probably demons that, that's why he can't quit, smoking weed and all that. So, he, trying to think what happened next. This was the big thing that happened next. For some reason, me and my husband, we got in a huge fight about money. He just got paid, had $900 in his wallet, and I don't know, we just got in a huge fight about the money, and he started getting real loud, and he threw the money at me, and the money splattered all over the floor. And then after a while, we knew we were both in the wrong, and we apologized to each other. He picked up his money, put it back in his wallet, and he stuck his wallet on the windowsill in our living room. And after, he had to go to work that night. He works third shift, so around like 11 o'clock, he went to grab his wallet, and it's gone. And then that's when he's like, you take my wallet? And I was like, no, I didn't take your wallet. Why would I take your wallet? So he got really mad and, was going around the house tearing things up, the couch cushions and just all that stuff. And he got so mad, and he didn't find it. I got up and I was trying to help him look for a little bit, and, it was he had to go to work. So he went to work without his wallet. And then he came home the next morning, probably around like 6 o'clock in the morning. And I got up with him, and, we apologized to each other again. And we still couldn't find the wallet. So we started looking, and I'm looking in the cabinets, and, because at the time my husband, he's like, a demon probably took this money, and hid it from us. And I'm like, oh, I don't know about that. And he's like, watch, this is for you, Ashley. God probably did this for you, so that you can see that this is real, that this supernatural, demons are real, angels are real. And I'm like, well, I hope not. I don't want to see this, because I was petrified. I didn't want to, learn that this is really real. Because I always watched the Paranormal Activity movies and the scary movies, the demonic movies, and I was so scared of it. And I'm like, if this is really real, oh man. So I'm looking, I go into the couch, I look in the cushions again, I look on top, nothing's there. And my daughter, she got up, and my husband went outside. My daughter got up, I looked at the couch, she got up and was like, Mom, what are you doing? I look at her for a couple minutes, I tell her what's going on. I look back, here's the wallet. It's placed on top of my couch, just laid, like somebody placed it right there. Just neat, just placed it, and I screamed. I bawled my eyes out. I screamed, and my husband came in. He's like, what's going on? And I'm like, it's right there. The wall is right there. And he's like, I told you, Ashley, And that day, like, the Lord really put the fear in me. Like, I started like, okay, this is real. It has to be real because that wallet wasn't there. It wasn't there a minute ago, and now it just appeared. So after that, like, we started really, getting to the bottom of it. And July 10th, 2014 was when everything changed. And my husband, he woke up that day, he was in torment, shaking, shivering, in pain, so much pain, physical pain. And I'm just like, wow. I was like, you need to call Chris. This could be, we watched so many deliverance videos of Chris, and I'm like, I think it's time you need to call him. And my husband, he didn't want to, seek man's help, you know what I mean? But I'm like, no, this is what he's here for, So I was typing Chris. I was like, Chris, my husband, he's in so much pain, can you please, call us? And my husband called him, and I took the kids outside just because I wasn't sure what was gonna happen. But then my kids, they were thirsty, so I came inside, and I just wanted to check on things. So I came and put my ear to the door, and the crazy, my husband, he was screaming in demonic voices and just screaming in gibberish and demonic tongues, and I just started bawling. I was like, this is real. This is real. And then after I realized it was real, I was just like, oh my goodness, Jesus Christ is delivering my husband. He's saving him. And then after my husband was done, he was praising Jesus. He felt at peace. He came, he hung up with Chris, and then he opened up the door, and he was just like, he's like, I'm Ashley. Jesus, he saved me. He saved me. He picked me up and he hugged me. He was covered in sweat. He was soaked in sweat. That was the day that the ball changed, the game changed, everything changed. We stopped all of our willful sin that day. We went and got married, and we repented over everything, and we turned our lives around. I came separate from my family, even though I didn't want to. My family, we were so close, and I tried talking to them, and they don't understand. They don't understand that. They don't understand why I had to come separate. And it's because, it says in the Bible you can't have part with darkness. I don't mean to call them out on darkness, because they're good people, but they swear, they drink, they gamble, they go to the casino, and they're not listening to the Lord. They don't pray. They don't deny themselves. They don't believe in demons, which is the biggest thing. They don't believe in it. So we came separate from our families. A lot of threatening, like, oh, you're not taking care of your kids. Your poor kids. And I'm like, my kids are wonderful. Jesus Christ is here for them. He's watching them. He's here for them. You don't got to feel bad for us. I feel bad for you guys because you're not experiencing this. How did we stop smoking and drinking and swearing and lying and just all this, everything that we were doing? How did we do that? My husband, he smoked weed for like 12 years. Heavily. How did he just stop that one day? It's because Jesus Christ, he saved us. He saved us from going to hell, you know? He showed us the truth, and I praise his holy name. I praise the Lord for this, because, I really thought I was going to heaven when I was going to hell, you know? And where I'm at now, my walk with the Lord, I'm trying to deny myself. I'm trying to figure out what God wants me to do, to help other people. But I still need to help myself. I still need to, do more of my fastings and, and pray more. And, I'm thankful for what I have right now. He gave me the gift of tongues, and, everything's been okay. I'm definitely not, I still have my struggle. Like, it's a war. It's a battle. It says in the Bible, it's a battle. It's a spiritual war that we're living in until our last breath. Satan's gonna, try everything he can to pull you away from the Lord. And, he's been trying to do that, but I could never go back to what I did. I could never go back to smoking cigarettes. I could never go back to smoking weed. I could never go back to lying and, just saying terrible things about people. I could never go back to that. And people, all my friends, we stopped talking to each other, and, I tried talking to my parents, but right now my mom, we went out to dinner with them. We had one dinner with them, and, told them the truth, and, they didn't want to hear it, so I just, I keep praying I pray for them every day that, that they'll see the truth, you know. Their biggest thing is they just don't understand why I'm doing this, and it's because, it's in the Bible. Just read it. Stop taking it out of context and read it, you know. My sisters, they stopped talking to me. My little sister, we were so close, and she doesn't even talk to me no more. No hi, nothing, It's sad, but I know I'm right. It's because it says in the Bible, it's in God's word. Everything that I'm doing, everything that's happening, it's in the Bible, and I just hope that the Lord will show her. She's still young, but I just hope that the Lord will uncover her eyes and let her have an ear to hear, and so that she can come to the knowledge of Jesus Christ. I've had, my one aunt, she says she's a Christian. She stopped talking to me because I told her, you're going to a church that doesn't believe in deliverances, because I posted my husband's video, and they were like, oh my gosh, call me, this is crazy, this is creepy. I'm like, why is it creepy? Jesus Christ did that in the Bible. That's everything he did in that Bible. They don't want to believe it. So she deleted me, off Facebook. She won't even talk to me after I told her, you're not doing it right. You need to see, you're not, she thinks it's okay to celebrate Halloween, celebrate Christmas, when Christmas, Jesus Christ, is not even his birthday. It doesn't have nothing to do with Jesus Christ. If Jesus Christ wanted us to celebrate Christmas, he would have put it in the book. He would have said, celebrate Christmas, and she just, everybody's just saying, oh, the poor kids, and, I'm just like, my kids are fine. If anything, they're so much better. They've been doing so much better now than before we had Christ. But I just hope my family, at least one person, I pray for my family every day, and, maybe God will just pick one person on my family that they'll see what I'm doing, and that they'll see, like, wow, this is the truth, that you have to stop your sinning. You have to stop your sinning and follow the Lord, like what he said, you need to obey me. You need to be born again. If you're not born again, then you can't see the kingdom. And that's why I just don't see, they're in a strong delusion. And I just pray that they get pulled out of that, because Jesus Christ, you know, it wouldn't say in the Bible that, Jesus Christ is a way, he is a life, he is the truth, or he is the truth. No, it says Jesus Christ is the way, the light, and the truth. He's the only thing that can get you into heaven. You have to follow him. You have to stop sinning. You have to deny yourself. You can't be his disciple if you're not going to deny yourself. And it's just sad. Everybody, I haven't been able to help anybody where I live, because, even Jesus says, you don't have no honor in your own country, but I just, you never know, the Lord, everything's possible with him, so anything can happen. But I just want my family to know that, that, demons are real. If Jesus Christ is real, why wouldn't it be demons? Why wouldn't demons be real? And I love my family. I love them, but it's just the demons that are inside of them that are causing them to not see the truth, They don't want to believe it. And I just hope the Lord will pull them out of that strong delusion. I don't know. Like I said, Jesus Christ, he's the best thing that's ever happened to me. And I could never go back. I could never go back to my old life. That's gone. I'm still working on a few things. But, once you realize, like, what Jesus did, he didn't just die on the cross for us to keep sinning. That'd be too easy. And it's not easy. It's not easy. Once you give up your life to Jesus Christ, it's not easy. Don't get me wrong, but it's the most beautiful thing that you could ever have. The most powerful thing you could ever have. You don't care about nothing when you have Jesus Christ. And, like I said, I was so close with my family. I was sad for a couple months, but I'm not really sad no more. There's other people that I could help that really want the help. I love them, and if they still want to come talk to me about it, I will. I try to bring up, with my mom, she'll try talking to me, and, I'll bring up, Jesus, and she'll just stop talking. That's where it's at right now to this point. She just totally ignores me when I bring up Jesus. So, it's not good. It's not good. And they're heading down the wrong path, the broad path, and the broad path is not to heaven. And they get so mad at me when I, tell them, like, as of today, you're going to hell. But it's fact. It's the truth. It's in the Bible. If you don't believe the Bible, then you don't believe in Jesus, you don't believe in God, because that's God's word. I don't know. It's sad. It's the point where it's sad. But I'm happy. I'm the most happiest I've ever been. And I just hope I get more righteous with my walk, and I just hope that I can start helping other people seeing the truth. I really hope that somebody in our city will, because so far I haven't come across nobody in our city that believes in anything, that believes in the gospel, the true gospel, not no other gospel. But yeah, this is my testimony, and I'm glad that I finally did it. It took me forever, but I'm gonna try doing another video, because I what's been happening lately about the about judging, and that's a whole nother video to make. But I'm so thankful that the Lord, he called me, and he he kicked my butt into following his son. Um, it's just amazing how people, that they think that, I'm brainwashed and all this and that, but I'm free right now. I'm more free than you. You know, you're free when you have Jesus Christ. If you do it correctly. If you're not obeying him, you don't see no results at all. I've been down that road. If you're still sinning, and you can believe in Jesus Christ. That's good. But anybody can say that they believe in Jesus Christ. The demons say that they believe in Jesus Christ, but they still tremble. It's in the Bible. And, you could sit there and say that you believe in him and know him, but does Jesus know you? Does he know you? Do you have a relationship with him? Because that's what it is. It's Jesus Christ. It's not a religion. He's a relationship. People want a savior. They want a savior, but they don't want a Lord. They don't want a Lord. They don't want a master. They want Jesus to be his savior, but not his Lord. And that's what people need to start realizing that. Really think about that. Alright, stay there. Stay there. But yeah, that's my testimony, guys, and I'm going to make a couple more videos, but I love all of you, and I thank you, Jesus Christ. I praise you for everything that you've done for my family. And